Hi everyone, my name's Reese. Here today to talk a little bit about Ghostrunner. So this game is available on Steam. It's a demo at the moment. The full release is coming out on the 28th of October. And I sort of just want to talk a little bit about it. So I've been very interested in speedrunning games for a long time now, and I've never really gotten into any. But I've been sort of on the hunt for one to sort of get my teeth into and to start speedrunning. And after having played this, I really enjoy it. So I just sort of wanted to dip my toes into YouTube and talk a little bit about a new game that I think is pretty interesting. And obviously it's a demo, so a lot of the stuff I discuss here might be subject to change. And obviously it's only going to be a limited look at what the game has to offer. But I'm just going to jump in here with a new game. The game's currently on Steam for $35.96 Australian, which is probably like 2 cents American, something like that. And that's 20% off until it's fully released, but the demo is obviously free, which is quite handy. So I'm basically just going to go through, do a quick walkthrough of the game, just the first level, and then I'll come back through and talk a little bit about sort of what I've learned, what you can do. So this first bit should be somewhat similar to how I initially played it. So this would be without any of the sort of speed strats that you learn. Just sort of what it looks like when you play the first time. So you're probably going to be better than me. At this point you gain a dash, which I didn't have before, and we can use that to dash through this fan, and we can now use that for the rest of the stage. That dash is also not available at the start if you start a new game. However, if you complete this level and then restart via the level select screen, you start with this dash. So if you were going to do an attempt at a single stage speed run, that's probably how people will end up doing it. You'll see there that when you're in the air and you hold dash, you slow down. So that gives you an option to sort of move off axis and dash in, which when we speak about the way that the enemies shoot in this game, it will make a lot more sense why that's important. We can sort of discuss that just here. These guys, see, they shoot very quickly, and if you're so about that distance is you can no longer strafe. Your strafe speed is too slow to avoid bullets, and if you change direction when they've shot, you're in trouble. And yeah, getting hit by other dudes behind them is basically always a problem. You can, however, parry bullets in this. It's just not particularly easy. So this is just attacking at the right moment. And that parry will also kill an enemy if you're close enough. Oops. Might be a little bit hard for me to get the timing with this, but you just have to take my word that if an enemy is in swing range, which is quite generous, the parry will also kill them. Something else that's fun that I found is there is a little Easter egg just here. Genji sword in a dumpster fire, which is fun. Anyway, so we'll get through this level. Oops. We'll try and get through this level. When you kill, it seems so far to only be 3 enemies in a row. If you kill 3 enemies in a row, it enters slow-mo, which can be cancelled by basically doing anything, dashing, crouching, anything like that. you'll have noticed also, every time I die, the reset is extremely quick, which obviously the game is built for speedrunners, so that's awesome to see. Okay. People will enjoy that quite a bit. This is the bane of my existence, this section. Yeah, because it's, as I was saying before with the enemies, they're kicking off. Their projectile speed is quite fast, so you sort of always want to be moving at a tangent to them, or orthogonal to them. And that section obviously is one big straight line, which can be, that's not ideal for doing that. You've overheard the lady saying "Dome on lockdown," which means that all of these enemies need to die before the door at the end of this stage will open. So that's, I'm assuming, going to be some part of the end game is sort of arenas like this. I haven't done this room in this order for a very long time, so you're just going to have to bear with me if I get smoked. Okay, and then slow-mo you cancel with a crouch or a dash. 2 doors open, and that's the end of the stage. So at this point, I'm not going to let the game continue, I'm just going to restart the level. And what I'm going to do now is basically just talk about basically 4 little extra bits in my notes, and I'll just play this level a little bit faster, or showing some of the skips that I've found. First thing is crouching plus jumping. If you didn't have your dash, it's the fastest form of movement, as far as I can tell, and if you hold crouch, it's a lot easier. Because you sort of hop at the end of your dash slows down, but when you hop, you get a little boost, and so your hop also cancels you out of that dash. So if you hold dash, you'll crouch at the earliest possible moment when you land. So that seems to be the best way to do it. Obviously I've started with the dash here, so it's not quite the fastest way to move here. As for the dash, I'm not entirely sure if it needs some tweaking. The little symbol just underneath my crosshair indicates when you have your dash, and it seems to be the case that anytime you touch a surface, you get your dash back. However, I initially thought that it was also when you leave a surface, because you can dash, jump, and dash in the air when that symbol is empty. And that seems counterintuitive to what it's supposed to be. It looks like it's supposed to indicate whenever you have a dash, but the fact that you can dash in the air after dashing on the ground while the symbol's not full sort of confuses that. So I think that might just be something that's going to need tweaking. But as a general rule, every time you land, you have a dash again, which that will come in handy for certain things later. So for example, you can climb walls by sort of running to the right, dashing at it backwards, and you can sort of zigzag up walls, because every time you've touched that wall, you get your dash back. Next is ledge boosting. So this is something that as you leave a ledge, if you jump, you go a lot further. So, whoops, if I do it the normal way, I can get about, that's a normal jump, I get about that far. You can ledge boost in 2 ways. So when you start this level without your dash, the only way that you'll be able to do it is with the crouch, which is a little bit harder. So as the ledge moves out of your vision, the bottom of the screen, so it disappears here, you don't want to do it too early. So that can, because if I start to dash as soon as it's out of my vision and jump, I basically just do a jump. You want to be dashing so that the quick part of the dash, that little, is happening just as you move off the ledge. Oops. So that you need to sort of delay it just a little bit, and so that was, you know, slightly better than the first, not as good as the second. Or slightly better than the first jump, not as far as the other jump. But yeah, you can see that you can sort of slide and get a quite significant boost not using your dash at all, and so obviously you can dash on top of that to increase it. I think the reason it works is because all it needs is for you to be off the ledge and press jump. Because it works, yeah, that's sort of a poor way to explain it, but it's the reason I think that is because it works also with a dash. If you dash off a ledge, you can dash and jump, and you get the same sort of thing. So without crouch, that was, you know, one dash and a jump right very late in the piece, and you get the same sort of effect. So yeah, there's something about it's because you've moved off a ledge in a certain way. But as far as I can tell, there's no way to do it just with regular jumps. But that's, I suppose that's fine because you've always got access to your crouch. The next, so now I'll just sort of proceed through the level until I find something that I have to say. I found that you can hook around that corner if you've got your dash. If you don't have your dash, you can't do that. The fastest way, if you don't have your dash, I think, is across the normal route. I've spoken about attacking enemies. This is another example of a place where, whoops, a place where ledge boosting is quite good. So you can, if you do it well, you can, if you do it well, you can skip. Whoops, I need him. You can skip. Sorry, I've sort of got myself out of the rhythm. You can skip most of that combat section just by dashing off this and going straight to that platform. So you can skip the first bit. You obviously don't need to kill him, and you're down here. This next stage has quite a significant skip, so instead of going all the way up and around, this is going to fuck me because I'm going to get a checkpoint in the wrong place, but that's fine. So instead of going all the way around here and ending up in that, you can go through this bit. This is done by jumping up here, jumping on the other wall, jumping late, dashing to this bit, and fucking it up. Basically, because these two pillars on the left and the right are so thin, you need to make sure that you jump very early after your dash at it. And you're dashing at it specifically because that lets you guarantee that you're going to hit exactly on that thin sort of air duct pillar thing. So jump to the left, jump back, dash at the pillar, jump. Oh. Get there. Jump to the left, jump to the right, dash at it, jump across, and then we're good. And so basically, yeah, you just need to make sure that you can jump across in the time that you're on these very thin walkways, so that you can get back on this piece, and then you're high enough that you can dash up to here, and that skips that whole section.
Initiating the sensory boost.
You can jump to the right here and skip that bit. You can't do this in the new game because this is the moment where it teaches you about the slowdown in the air. I've seen someone, I believe, after the slow-mo, they dash around this building. But in the version I'm playing, the slow-mo sort of limits your view to, you can't slow-mo and go somewhere else. You have to basically dash at the enemy that's standing here. So I don't quite know how he did that, but that might be a possibility. But as a general rule, if you're playing a non-new game version of this stage, you can just dash over to the right here. You can do similar things here. You can dash. You can dash past this corner onto there, and you can get up that's like probably the faster way to do it if you don't die. That might be the fastest way to do it. I can't say that it's much faster than just doing it this way, so I mean that's probably just a better way. This is probably the most significant skip. Instead of going all the way to the right, you can dash off this ledge, jump, whoops, fucked it, dash onto that pillar, and slide down here, which saves you, yeah, quite a bit of fucking about on the side here. It is somewhat hard to do, and you'll also want to turn your brightness up, because that corner is extremely dark if you have your brightness set to... this game looks, I think, in my opinion, a lot nicer when it's dark, but it's just so hard to see that you know, maybe it's not worth it. This section can be skipped somewhat by going up here. You can dash along these. Again, it's a very linear stage, so take this all with a grain of salt. But you can dash along these walls, and if you're fast enough, I'm going quite slow here. I just sort of have lost it, because you can come through here with a fair bit of momentum from coming through all this bit. You obviously don't want to come face to face with him. I honestly don't know if it's actually faster. I think the speed with which you come through there, and the fact that you're going straight through, makes it... Oh yeah, when I did this originally, I didn't go to the right here. This is the intended route. I've just practiced that bit so much that that's what I've started doing. But yeah, so you can hug this wall and wall run, sort of. Instead of going to the right, you can dash into this wall and jump, and that's much quicker. And instead of going all the way around here, I found that you can jump off this, and then you've got just enough room to jump straight back into here, so you can just sort of hug that corner. This room, the most efficient way I've seen anyone do it is to, I think he killed that one, and then reset the checkpoint, which loads you over there because you've completed all of the enemies in the stage. I don't know if that's... I mean, it probably is quicker, because he seems to be faster than I am, so I'll take his word for it. I think this is the fastest way to do it if you're not going to reload the checkpoint, because it ends you in the door. So you got those three, this one, this wall, oops, I got my dash there, that one, and then it ends you quite close to the door. So that's basically all I had to say. There's two more things. The first is, I don't know if it's a glitch or if it's an intended mechanic to stop players from doing some sort of exploit that the devs found, but if you crouch and dash as you hit the ground, sometimes it gets stuck in that thing until the timer runs out or until you press a button again. In the air, if I let go of shift, I dash, let go, I dash, let go, I dash immediately. Sometimes when you land and press crouch, so I've let go of all buttons and it doesn't matter, it keeps me in that slow-mo until the bar has run out, or until I realize that I've gotten stuck and pressed the button again. So yeah, I don't know if maybe that's to stop people just like, I don't know if you could dash crouch on the ground and just sort of break all movement systems that they had set up, but maybe that's why they did that, or maybe it's just a glitch from when you hit the ground and crouch at the same time. The game doesn't know what to do. Other two things are, it was just about settings, is I noticed that anti-aliasing, I think it was anti-aliasing, I think it was on 1080p, it might have been, or with a certain video setting, but basically I'm just saying play around with this setting, because I noticed some horrific edges. Like, it was extraordinarily bad with a certain configuration of settings. But the more important setting I wanted to talk about is field of view. So in this game, if I were to go to field of view and set it to the lowest possible setting, Um, the ledge disappears from my field of view here. Now if I put my field of view back to a reasonable place, like 90, which is, or let's say 95, which is somewhere around where most people play, I'm nowhere near the edge. So if I use the fact that the edge has disappeared from my view as a sort of yardstick for when I crouch dash, so I fucked that one up. Sort of even at 95, I'm a long way from the edge. Like I need to delay it quite a, oops, maybe not that much. I need to delay it quite a bit before I crouch and jump. So that even that wasn't it. So that was it. You need to delay it quite a lot. The higher you go, however, so this is obviously going to look like a horror show. I'm now much closer to the ledge, and so it's a lot easier to gauge. So, like when you want to press the button, like I mean, these have basically all been right. Even on, so I play somewhere around 100 FOV. Even after practicing at that field of view, I'm much more consistent at 120. And there are certain parts in the game further on where I've seen another person play on 120 maximum highest field of view, and that was looking at it, it was much clearer where you needed to go at what moments, just because of how much you'd see. So if you can stomach it, this, I don't know, it's a little much for me, but if you can stomach it, playing on the highest possible field of view does seem like an advantage in this game. And that's all I have. Anyway, so like I said, I'm sort of just dipping my feet into YouTube, speedrunning, and this game specifically. So if you have any advice, I definitely won't turn it down. Oh, my best times. I'll tell you my best time for this stage. I don't know if it's going to show it because I have. Okay, yeah. So yeah, my best time for this stage is 1:17, 1 minute 17. So I'm pretty happy with that. My first playthrough of this, before I knew any speed strats, was about 15 minutes. Got it down to about 5 minutes on my first attempt. 2 minutes, a couple of attempts after that. Was stuck on 1 minute 22 for a very long time, and then I knocked off a little bit more using a skip that I saw someone use. So I'm almost positive it's not the best time, but that's the time I'm working on for my first stage. That was also not in a new game loop, so I had dash from the start, which might, I don't know, it might not count or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, if you're watching, thanks for watching. Cheers.